What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Trailer Park Live right here on the 2nd Street Marvel, where we're coming at you live every single Friday night at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Now, if this is your first time here, thank you so much for being here. I do greatly appreciate it. Now, I did just have some technical difficulties. I'm not exactly for sure what happened here with my audio, but again, thank you all so much for your patience. I appreciate you all being here. Now, if this is your first time here, thank you all so much for being here and supporting the live show. Just some of the, covering some of the different topics that I have to discuss for the week. And we're going to start this week off no different than we do any other week, and we're going to start here with my comic books, and the ones that I read this week are Black Widow, The Web of Black Widow, issue number 1. Now this book was written by Jody Houser. The artist in here is Stephen Mooney. The color artist is Triona Farrell, and it's lettered by VC's Corey Petit. Now, you guys know, in case you don't know, if this is your first time here, my favorite comic book series that has been out this month, or this year, I guess, was Black Widow. It was a recent series done by the Soska sisters. In case you don't know who they are, maybe you need to go back and watch my review of it. But I gotta tell you, this series right here, it's a new one, and it's kind of coming on after that series had ended. And I've got to tell you, I won't go out there and compare this to what the Soska sisters did. The Soska sisters are some very talented young ladies, and I got to tell you, this isn't quite there. But and I didn't like this first issue as much as I did like the first issue of that series. But again, I don't want to compare it to that because they definitely left some big shoes to be filled. But I did actually like this first issue, and I don't think I've ever read any Jody Houser books before, and I've got to tell you, this one was actually pretty good. We got kind of, if you don't know about Natasha Romanoff or anything, they introduce you to the character, and they kind of put you in a world and see exactly where she's going here. Now, in case you don't know, Black Widow was actually killed during the events of Secret Empire that just happened a couple of years back, and then she was reborn in the Red Room with as a clone with implanted memories of Natasha Romanoff. And so basically, that's the same thing that we're picking up here. And she's going out, and I guess you could say through the course of this story, she's going out to seek some revenge on some people who obviously possibly did her some wrong, and obviously who have done others some wrong. We see a couple of familiar faces in here, one of them being Tony Stark, and as she's going, we see Black Widow is going to this party. It's like this upscale party that's a fundraiser being put on by these people here, and she's going in here, and we don't exactly quite know what she's doing, but we can see that what she does is she ends up going to this place and kind of infiltrating through some of their security to leak some, how would you say, some different information about the person who is hosting this party. This first issue, it was pretty good. It kind of left us on a little cliffhanger. Don't really know what's going on here. Tony Stark and Iron Man seems to have a little bit of concern, and he also, we see that he kind of somewhat has a little bit of, I guess, a parallel kind of arc to hers, in a certain kind of way, and some of that in being just some of their flawed character and their past. Now, like I said, I don't want to compare this to what the Soska sisters did, because for me, that Black Widow series, which is out on trade paperback now, you can go find it. It is called No Restraints Play. That one actually really holds a special place in my heart because of the subject matter that was in it. And this one, I'm not sure that this series or any series can really ever compare to that, but I did like this first series. I'm going to put this on this first book I'm going to put it on my pull list and see how these future ones are. But again, like, you can see some of the art in here. It's not too bad at all. You can see a little bit more of the art there, and there she is dancing with Tony Stark. And altogether, I'm gonna keep pulling it. I'm gonna see how this one compares to the rest of the series. Now, I gotta tell you, before I ever actually read that Black Widow series that the Soska sisters did, I never really read the character Black Widow before. I knew who she was and a little bit about her, but I'm telling you, that series really, kind of really made me fall in love with this character, and really, I feel pretty invested in this character. So I want to see how this ends up turning out in the near future. Now, the next one that I have here that I got read was The No Ones. Now, this one is written by Jim Kruger. It's written by Jim Kruger, created and written by Jim Kruger. The art is done by Well B. The letters are done by Simon Boland, and it's edited by Shahrir Folati. Oh man, I know I butchered that name. But in it, you know, you can see some of the art there. Now, what this book is you can see that guy ends up with some clones, kind of like multiple man, I guess you could say. But right here, you can see a little bit of the artwork and just what's going on here. Now, the only reason I actually even heard of this series was because of the guy who was writing it, Jim Kruger. I followed him on Instagram and I believe probably even Twitter, and I seen him post a picture about it, kind of telling what it was about. And he said it's somewhat like, I can't exactly remember how he described it, but for me, when I actually got into this and read it, it seemed like it was kind of like a X-Men type of film where we see a group of heroes and they have powers and they're going out and fighting bad guys. Now, what's going on in this story? This is an issue number 3. I haven't read issue number 1 or issue number 2, so I'm probably gonna go see if my LCS, my awesome LCS here in Lancaster, California, Bases Cards and Comics, can get this in for me so I can read those other 2 issues before issue number 4 comes out. But altogether, I'll tell you, I did like this series, this book so far. It wasn't too wordy. The art in it, I mean, it kind of matches the tone of the book. I won't be too picky about the art because a lot of times what I've noticed in a lot of the indie titles that I've read is that they actually, the storytelling seems to be just a little bit better than what we're getting out of the big 2. And I think there's a lot of reasons for that, and maybe we'll get into those in just a minute. But pretty much what we see through this story is all these people with these special powers. They are in a group similar to the X-Men where they come together and they fight crime. Now, this particular group of individuals, it seems like what they do is they have a TV show that they go and they hunt down bad guys and things like that, and they get high ratings. Now, what happened in this book, what I've gathered so far, is that somebody has set a curse upon them, and half of the team has kind of forgotten, like they basically have no memory of who some people are or what they do and things like that. So the book opens up with half of this team of individuals chasing after the other team of people, as there is somebody who had been murdered and they don't know, they didn't quite catch it in time, and I'm guessing somebody's taking the fall for it. And we can see that the other half of the team that is being chased actually does end up getting away. And there's just a few peculiar things going on here. All in all, I'd say for a third issue, it seemed pretty good. And not ever reading this series before, I really did like what was going on in this book. And again, I kind of figured I would, and that's why I picked it up, because it is by Jim Kruger. And in case you don't know who Jim Kruger is, I'll be honest with you, I don't really know who he is either, other than the fact that the other title that he has been writing is one that I've probably flapped my gums at to no end about here on the channel, and that is Neon Future. If you guys haven't checked out Neon Future, you need to go check that out. I really strongly urge you to go check out Neon Future. It is also written by Jim Kruger, and I got to tell you that Neon Future is actually published by Impact Theory Comics. And if you don't know who Impact Theory is, you should definitely get here on YouTube and check them out. You might have to look up Tom Bilyeu, who is one of the co-founders of Impact Theory Comics, and he has his channel Impact Theory, where he goes through and interviews a lot of people who have been successful and have had success in business and things like that. And he sits down and interviews them and talks to them. It's a very good channel. Now, I did like his writing in Neon Future, Jim Kruger's, so I got to tell you, that's why I picked up this book, and I think it was really good. I want to see what they have more in store for this series. Now, the next ones I really read, I've been doing some catching up. I got some books read from last week, some of my independent books that I got read, and I've got some reviews that I've got shot for them. But you guys know, I'm damn busy here at my house, and I haven't got them all edited, so look forward to those being edited. They're shot and everything completely, so they will be edited this week, and we'll go ahead and I'll get those done here by the end of the weekend, and get those shots so you guys can see those. And some of them may premiere on my Patreon channel. Now, in case you guys this is your first time here, there are some links down in the description. Oh, they may not be in this one because I forgot I used it from an old stream, but there are typically some links where you can go and donate and become a Patreon member. Where they charge you $1, $5, $10, however much you want to donate a month. And there should also be a link for my Streamlabs in there, but if there's not, I'll make sure I get those, and if not, it's really not all that important. I'm just glad that you guys are all here. Now, the other books that I did get read for the week were, I was getting some catching up done. I was a few issues behind on Punisher. Now, you guys, I'm not sure if you guys have ever read Punisher before. I never really read Punisher before I got back into reading comics again last year, and I got to tell you, I've loved this series. Matthew Rosenberg is writing this series. Frank Castle is basically out seeking revenge on people and atoning for his sins. Just some things that he had done during the events of Secret Empire, where he was working with Hydra, and he's been on just like this kill crazy mission, going after all the people. Who is basically, all the Hydra agents and people, just seeking revenge on them. And basically what happened throughout the series is he went to Begalia to track down Baron Zemo, and he has been after Baron Zemo for quite a while. He's getting closer and closer every single time. So he got into Begalia. He started fucking shit up in Begalia. I mean, he blew the fucking country to smithereens pretty much. And Baron Zemo barely got away. And you know what? He didn't get away without Frank Castle in tow, and now they are back in New York, and we can see that Baron Zemo has been going out and trying to seek help and get some help to get rid of Frank Castle, which is something that nobody can seem to do. Now I got to tell you, one of the things I think would be absolutely exciting is to see him maybe team up with Natasha Romanoff. I think that would be an absolutely great team up, and hopefully it's something that we will definitely see here in the near future. That would be great, and I'm not sure if they've ever been really teamed up in a book before, but I want to see it. And I know issue number 15, as I can show you right here. See if I can find it here. It's not right here. Well, issue number 15 actually had Black Widow on the cover with him, so I haven't got that issue read yet, and I'm hoping that it's good, and maybe she's gonna be in there and make an appearance. But altogether, if you guys aren't into comic books, I think if you're looking to get into a good series, you should definitely check out the Punisher series. It is very, very excellent. And that's all I really got for my comic books this week that I got read. I got a lot of catching up to do this weekend, and I've got some other things just in store that I want to be getting done this weekend. In case you guys don't know, I do a live stream show pretty much every day throughout the week, Monday through Friday, called the Morning Movie Chat. I usually do that at 8 o'clock a.m. Pacific Standard Time, where I just flap my gums for about an hour talking about movies. And here pretty soon, starting next week, I will be having a guest on, hopefully a couple of times a week. I know this Tuesday I'm going to be having Stevie J's Reviews come onto the stream, and hopefully he can help me bring up the quality of that TV show. I think it's going to be very fun. In case you guys don't know who Stevie J's Reviews is, he does movie reviews, obviously, right? Anyway, he's a very good reviewer. You should go check out his channel. I don't have any links here I don't have anything prepared here for dropping links or any of that kinds of stuff. But you should definitely go and check out his channel. He does some pretty good reviews, and I want to bring him in and just to help bring me a little bit more quality for you, my awesome viewers. Now, I know he's on a different part of the world than I am, so there's some time constraints there, and it's going to be pretty late in the evening for him, but he is still willing to come onto the show to help me bring you guys some more quality content. And if there are any other creators out there that you guys know that are good movie reviewers, and I need people who are really good at what they're doing, because, in case you guys haven't been here before, I truly love movies. I used to spend, through my 20s, I spent so much time at the movies, so much money at the movies. Like, I really do have a love for them, and ever since I was a kid all the way till I'm an adult right now, I mean, just every single thing about them. And so I do get kind of picky on who I want to bring onto the show, and I think Stevie J is definitely going to be one of those people who can help me bring up the quality of that show. And if there's any other reviewers that you think could come onto the show, please let me know down in the comments. Anybody else who might be able to and willing to come onto the show. Now, and that will be on Tuesday when Stevie J's Reviews gets here, and I can't wait to do that. I was just talking with him the other day. We got some pretty exciting topics to talk about. We already kind of shot a few ideas back and forth, and it's a topic I've actually covered here on the channel before, but I think, and we'll probably cover a lot of things that I've already talked about, because I think, and that's why I want to bring on guests, is because bringing somebody else on who has a different view point from mine, or just has even more insight into the things that I've already discussed and that we will discuss, is just going to bring more value, not only to my channel, maybe to their channel, and definitely to you as viewers. But yeah, that being said, let's go ahead and get into everything else. Now, I'm going to go ahead and get here into the live chats. I see we've got a lot of people here already. Marty McFly Sr., thank you so much for letting me know that there was no audio. I do apologize about that. I had some sort of small technical difficulties going on here. I don't know, but it worked itself out, I guess, and we're back. Marty McFly G says, I don't think I know how to lip sync. Oh, okay. Well, lip sync, lip read, it's all good. Let's do it. He said, "Did you do the YouTube update?" You know what? No, they on the computer they do that things themselves, man. And it just the other day I hopped on when I was doing one of my live streams and like kind of like it was like really quick and I was like, oh man, it was all messed up. It was pretty messed up. But welcome to the live stream, Marty McFly Senior. It was nice seeing you today. Kermit the Log, welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here. Stevie J's reviews, Lethal Lightning, Daddy Pants. Thank you all so much for being here. Joseph Lennon, thank you for being here as well. And Joseph Lennon is one of my Patreon supporters, as well as Marty McFly Sr. I do thank you guys so much for your patronage. Lord Callis, what's up? How you doing this evening? Hope you're doing well. In case any of you guys are content creators out there, you should go check out each other's channels and see the awesome work that some of these guys do. Lethal Lightning's been doing some great live streams in the morning. Well, morning for me. I think it's probably evening for him. I've been seen him doing some live streams, doing some good stuff there. Kermit the Log, he's a great content creator, and Lord Callis, one of my favorites. If you like Star Wars, you want to know about the EU or anything like that, Lord Callis is your man. This dude knows exactly what he's talking about. Not only that, but his production value on his videos is really good. I like it. And yeah, Stevie J Reviews, thank you so much for being here, Stevie. I do appreciate it. Looking forward to our conversation on Tuesday for everybody, and I think you guys should be too. I think what we're going to be talking about on Tuesday is going to be very, very exciting, and I think you guys are going to be in for one hell of a treat. And yes, if you could all do me a favor, hit the like button or hell, hit the dislike button. I honestly don't care. I don't care about those kinds of things. But, it's most important that you interact in some sort of way, and it's okay if you give me a thumbs down. I'm not one of those people who's going to look into it and be like, oh no, somebody gave me a thumbs down. What's it mean? But I do appreciate it, and thank you for being here, Stevie J. And let's see. Okay, do we have anything? And if you guys have any comments or anything you want me to go over, make sure that you tag me in them so they kind of stick out a little bit more. Because sometimes I'm such a nerd. I get here on my live streams, and if you guys have been here before, I can go on and on and on and on and on and on. So sometimes you kind of have to do something to get my attention. Okay, Marty McFly Sr. says The Punisher is badass on Netflix. I got to tell you, that's one of the, I don't watch many TV shows, but I'll tell you, that's one of the TV shows I did watch. I watched the first season, kind of got into the second season a little bit, but I didn't really like it. To me, that's not the Punisher. That was like Punisher Light. Yeah, maybe like Natty Ice. So it'd be like Punisher Ice, I guess. And no, and not to say anything bad, because I really do like John Bernthal. I think he was a perfect person to play that role. I just think the role in the show in itself, it was weak. It was weak. He just you want to watch a good Punisher flick, and I've never seen Punisher Warzone, but I gotta tell you, that Punisher flick that came out back in 2001, 2002 with Thomas Jane, absolutely great film, and it's a shame that Marvel Studios now owns that character, because they're not going to be able to do that character justice. And as a matter of fact, I'm at the point where I hope they don't make a Punisher series, because they're not going to be able to do a Punisher justice in the MCU. Now, you guys hear me saying that, you guys probably think, oh yeah, Deadpool neither. Now, I have to disagree with a Deadpool in the MCU, to me, if you ask me, can be done. And now here's why. And I've talked about this at length before too, is when you go and you watch Deadpool, sure, he drops a lot of F-bombs and all these kinds of things. Now, he's pretty rude, he's pretty vulgar, and a lot of that stuff. But the one thing I have to say is that in the comics, it's not that way. And you could easily say the same thing about the Punisher, but the Punisher is really just more blood, violence, and gore more than anything. And I don't think they're going to do that in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. A guy with a madman with a bunch of guns who's going after, with vigilante justice after a bunch of bad guys. I just don't see it happening in our current climate, and I just don't think that they're going to be able to do him justice in that way. Now, the reason I think they could do Deadpool is because if you go back and look, my best example I could come up with is Austin Powers. Go back and watch any Austin Powers movies. Those movies are rated PG-13. And with a character like Deadpool, you can do everything that they did with Austin Powers, and that is clever edits. When he's getting ready to say something, you got a clever edit, and you can edit some of that stuff out that might be a little bit inappropriate for younger audiences, while still getting the point across and still making it PG-13. Now, my other argument is, in case you didn't see Avengers Endgame, go watch Avengers Endgame. They really pushed the envelope with that. I mean, not only did Tony Stark say shit a couple times, he actually even said it to his kid, and even his daughter said it. Plus, those scenes when they're in Tokyo, Japan, with Ronin, and he's going after the Yakuza, and he's sitting there, dude, like he's slashing fools up, and it was pretty graphic. I remember sitting at the theater, even the first time watching them, I was like, holy shit, this is a PG-13 movie. Oh man, they really pushed the envelope with it, because there was just some of the things. I mean, kind of like Quentin Tarantino done a lot of times in his movies, where there's a lot of simulated violence, but you don't ever actually see it. Sometimes it comes down to sound effects and things like that to just help her. How would you say, to help drive that feeling of what's going on, and I think it's something that can definitely be done in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like I said, just some quick, clever edits to bring in a character like Deadpool. But again, that's just me. I could totally be wrong, because I don't really have a problem if there is no cursing in the MCU, like as far as Deadpool doing all that, because I think they could still, like I said, do some clever edits to make it a great show. But yeah, okay, so let's see, where are we at now? Um, Marty McFly says the cake looked awesome. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. And guys, I did that live stream last Saturday, decorating the cake, and you know what? I forgot to take pictures of it. I forgot to take pictures of it when it was done. Snowdub, welcome to the live stream. Thank you so much for being here. Stevie J says, appreciate it, man. Loving your work. Teach me some more about comics every stream. I do my best. And you know what? That's something that maybe we should get into a little bit. We'll get into a little bit here as far as videos and being a YouTube content creator. I'll get into that before I get into a couple of the other things that I want to talk about that do kind of revolve around the exact same thing. Let's see, who else have we got in the chat today? Simple Sparrow, what's up, man? Welcome to the live stream. I don't think I've ever seen you here before. I do greatly appreciate you being here. Simple Sparrow says, stop crashing bicycles. Yeah, man. In case you guys don't know, and I'm not sure how you know this, Simple Sparrow, but in case you guys don't know, last year, this was actually around the same time that I got back into reading comic books. Last year, God, was it last June? God, it had to have been June 16th. I actually got in a bike crash while I was out riding, and I broke my collarbone. You might be able to still see like some scars there and everything. I crashed. I broke my collarbone, fractured a few ribs, and even my scapula. And in case you guys don't know, fracturing your scapula is pretty hard to do. But I was out riding my road bike, out in the mountains, and I was with a friend. We're coming out of a corner. It was a really windy day. There was a lot of sand on the ground. I'm not sure. It was probably a combination of a lot of the elements. We were hauling ass. I was doing about 20 miles an hour coming out of this corner, and my front wheel washed out from underneath me, and I went crashing to the ground, broke all this stuff. I mean, as soon as I crashed, I really wish, I was wearing a helmet. I wish that I would have like got knocked unconscious or something, because I remember the whole thing. Sometimes it's almost like traumatic, you know what I mean? And it's like I can almost feel it and relive it, you know what I mean? Like sometimes I just hear I can hear that crunching of the wheels, the carbon, and the sand and everything in my head, and it's almost horrific. But and in case you guys have never been to like a bicycle race or seen one on TV, when you hear like human bodies, pavement, and a bunch of carbon crashing, it's not a beautiful sound. It is not a beautiful sound. But that's one of the things that kind of led me back into reading comic books. And I was kind of bored here, here at the house for a few days. I got back into reading comic books as I was fighting my way back onto the bike. Now the thing is I crashed out in the middle of nowhere, and my friend, he crashed as well, and that's what I feel the worst about. And he actually rode to call my wife, because there's no cell reception where we're at. He rode down and called my wife, who was at Six Flags. She came and picked me up and took me to the hospital. Now, in the meantime, like, I got up, I was okay. I knew something was broke. I knew it wasn't right. So, instantly once we got up, so I ended up walking down the mountain into town with my bike and everything, and then we went to the hospital. It was a crazy big ordeal. But then the thing is I was back on my bike 10 days post surgery. This happened on a Saturday. Went into surgery on a Tuesday. 10 days later, I was back on my bike. And, at the same time, I was getting back into comic books, and then I started this channel, and a whole lot of things happened. I haven't got as much writing done this year as I'd like to, as I've been trying to grow as a content creator and grow this thing here and make it a little bit bigger. and just to kind of grow some influence here on YouTube. And then through that, through all of these things, they've kind of helped evolve my channel a little bit into what it is now. And it's part of the reason that I started my superhero life tips series, and it's something I got to do a lot more of. And I've been thinking about doing a lot more of those videos, and I keep talking about it. But the thing is I started doing these live streams, and I share a lot of what I want to say in those videos here on the stream. And that's one of the things that kind of drives that is, I'm a self-motivated person, and I think you all should be too. You should all have, and to do that, I mean, you got to have a vision of success. You got to have a roadmap to get there. And I talked about this in one of my videos. First of all, you got to have your target. What do you want? What's your goal? You got to write them down. Write down your goal, and then set little goals along the way so you can measure your progress along the way. So you're not just just you have your goal and then you're just going at it, like relentlessly, but you don't know if you're making any actual progress. And the thing about that is too is you can't ever let things get to you. You got to be mentally tough and self motivated in these senses. Believe me, it wasn't easy getting back on my bike 10 days later. And I've actually even had there was actually somebody in a live stream one day that was like not on my live stream, on somebody else's, where I was mentioning that, and they're like, 10 days post. But you were riding back on your bike 10 days after you crashed and had all this surgery and everything? And the answer is yes. And they're like, well, what kind of drugs, what kind of painkillers were they giving you? And I'll tell you, honestly, I didn't take any painkillers the whole time, but 3 pills. And that was the first night post surgery, just to sleep through the night. After that, everything was pretty bearable. And, it was some tough times, because like for those 10 days, my body was hurting, it was aching. I was kind of in this a little bit of a world of self doubt. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, man, I keep coming back to, was it me? Was it the elements? What was it? What was it that caused the crash? Because I've rode this road a million, okay, maybe not a million, probably at least 100, 200, 300 times in my life. And it was just something that happened that day, so it's something I choose not to dwell on. And and that's something that I think a lot more people need to just need to kind of look at when you're looking at things in your life, is don't dwell upon things, don't let them get you down, and certainly don't ever doubt yourself. Don't ever have a defeatist attitude, because a defeatist attitude will get you nowhere. If you're saying things like I can't, or I won't, or I try, or this or that, do or do not, there is no try. And don't ever doubt yourself, and certainly don't ever let anybody tell you that you can't do something, because you know what, for me, when somebody tells me I can't do something, you know what, that gives me their doubt. And that, in case you guys don't know, you haven't been here before, that's one thing that drives me forward, is motivation, is hearing other people's doubts. Also, just everything else I take in from the world around me, whether it's somebody else's doubts, whether it's somebody else's praises, or anything like that. And in case you guys don't know me, I am somewhat of a modest man. I don't try to, I don't have too big of an ego. Like people, give me compliments, and I don't know how to take them. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, I'm nobody, man. I'm really a nobody. I'm just some average dude. And other people try to say, no, man, what you do, all this. And I'm like, no, you know what? Like, I'm nobody special. You know what I mean? I'm no different than you. I'm no different than anybody else. The only thing is, I mean, I think I had some good parents growing up. I got somewhat decent genes, I guess. It's something that plays important into it too. But the most important thing is that you have a strong mind, strong body. I mean, it all goes together. Our mind, our body, our spirit, everything goes together in creating who we are. And you guys who are here on my channel, anybody else out there in the world, you guys are part of who I am. You guys, we all came up in this world together. We all feed off of each other. You know what I mean? Like, every single interaction we have with one another is something that's very important. And I think it's something that definitely gets overlooked by many people. And that doesn't mean that you have to get along with everybody. That doesn't mean that you have to be friends with everybody. It doesn't mean you have to be nice. It doesn't mean you have to be mean. It just means that you need to be able to take and look at things and be able to just be able to take those kinds of things in, and create turn it into something. You know what I mean? I'm not sure if you guys ever heard of Hatebreed. Hatebreed is an absolutely great band, and they did, I don't know, I'm not going to get into that, because the one band I did want to talk to you about tonight is Seven Dust. I'm not sure if you guys have ever heard of Seven Dust. It's a band out of Atlanta, Georgia. Absolutely great band. God, I can't even remember all the guys. I should have done a little bit of research before I got on here. But it's got like Lejon Witherspoon, Vince Hornsby, Morgan Rose is the drummer. God, who else? Corey Lowry. Is it Corey Lowry? I can never remember if it's Corey or his brother, of the Lowry brothers. Oh man, and I know there's one other guy I'm forgetting, and I'm gonna feel bad for forgetting his name. But it's an absolutely great band, and you can see I'm wearing the shirt right here. Now, for a while, the one of the Lowry brothers did quit the band and went and did joined another band, which was his brother's band. His brother used to play in this band called Stuck Mojo, and they went out and they did a little band, and they were doing some touring and anything. And during that time, Sonny Mayo, who used to play for Snot, actually came in and did some touring and did an I think he did 2 albums with them. Absolutely great band. You guys should definitely check them out. I've enjoyed the Seven Dust ever since their first album came out. Man, that seems like it's been a long time ago, but I want to say it was probably about 98 or 99. And I've been fortunate enough to see Seven Dust about 7 or 8 times live. And unfortunately, I've never actually got to meet the band. But I would love to, and I've seen them plenty of times. Great music, and they're a touring band. They're a hard-working band, and they're one of these bands that they go out there and they constantly put out good music, and that's just a true testament to the talent that they have in this band. Really great band. I think you guys should check them out. Okay, now getting back here into the live stream. Into the live chats. Why is Hawkeye the worst Avenger ever? Man, he says literally worse than Aquaman. Honestly, I don't know. I never really read him in the comics much. But I do know that hey, he killed Bruce Banner, right? He can't be that bad. Oh man, does that make him bad? I don't know. But yeah, I mean, because if you think about it, he's just a guy with no superpowers. Really, he don't have any superpowers. He's just an expert marksman with his bow and arrow. Um, so Marty McFly says, "Keep watching the series. That turns up to Bacardi 151. Ha ha ha! I bet it does. Anything turns up to Bacardi 151." Stevie J review says Thomas Jane nailed it. He did. Now the thing is about that Thomas Jane Punisher is a little bit on the cheesy side in some parts, but everything else about the movie was so great. And I think it was just kind of the setup in the beginning of the movie, like when he's sitting there undercover as the cop, and he's kind of drawing in the bad guys, and at the beginning, and they end up killing the guys. I think that part, just like that first part of the setup, seemed a little bit silly, a little bit out of place, but overall, everything after that was just absolutely phenomenal. He just he just got a bow and runs around in a tunic. Yeah, right. Oh man, Stevie J reviews says, "Don't forget America's ass." Mario Fly says, "As long as you do Walking Dead comics." Bikes are made to be rebuilt. Thank God for your injury. If I would not have if if not, I would not have met the legendary, the big Trinity. Yes, yes, and thank you so much. TV says, "Oh, I can barely ride without any broken bones." That's crazy. Um, Preach, never dwell on the past. Yeah, never dwell on the past, man. I mean, you know what? I mean, if you have things that you need to dwell on in your past, you know what? Take them and turn them into inspiration. You know what I mean? Dwell on it in a positive way, and that's something I'm definitely all about. Simple Sparrow says, "Did you crash due to the sand from a recent rainstorm going across the road? I remember passing through that road later that day." Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say it wasn't. I can't remember if it was a rain. There was some rainstorms that had been going on recently, I think, but it was just like a really windy day. It had to have been because the road's not normally covered in that much dirt. Um, it says you take them just fine. Trinity totally gets it. Well, thank you. Yes, and I'm guessing you're talking about Seven Dust. Seven Dust, absolutely phenomenal band. Okay, now with all of those things taken care of, now like I was saying about being just some of the things about being a YouTube content creator. Now, you guys. I'm not sure if you guys follow me on Twitter or Facebook or anything like that. Now, if you guys do, you guys know that I don't really take a whole lot of things seriously, and I like kind of keeping them off balance, and even keeping myself off balance, and just as a means to like sometimes I think there's people out there, sometimes, and not just everybody, but all of us, we need to be shook a little bit, maybe somebody slap us in the face a little bit and give us a little wake up call, whether it's in a good way or a bad way, but hopefully it's going to be in a good way, and just keeping on, just like I said, keeping us off balance, because it keeps us on our toes. It keeps us humble. You know what I mean? And so a lot of times, recently, my good friend Drunk 3PO on Twitter one day, he's like, "Man, you're a bully. You're a bully online." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not really a bully. I like messing with people sometimes. I like to have fun." And if you guys have ever seen me on Twitter, you guys have never seen me on Facebook, like on my personal account. I get kind of messed up sometimes, and I like messing with people. You know what I'm saying? Now, one of the things I was talking about the other day is like I like to do the happy birthday joke where I just go and I get on my Facebook and I'll be like, "Oh guys, everybody, thank you so much for the happy birthday wishes." And then like everybody's sitting there wishing me happy birthdays, and then I'll go ahead and I'll do it about 3 weeks later or so, just to kind of mess with people. It's just the kind of person I am. I like to do that. But now that's the one thing, like as a content creator, that's part of the reason that I ended up here. I kind of got bored with some of that, and also I have thick skin for doing this kinds of stuff. I'm open to the criticisms. I'm open to hearing them. I'm open to people being rude. And one of these days, I know I'm sure going to get some dislikes, and I'm finally going to get, maybe some hate comments and stuff. And I can't wait till I make it till I get there. Man. But one of the things that I really wanted to talk about, and I've talked about this at length too, and that was about. When Stevie J says that he likes my work and teaching him about comics, more about comics every stream. The one thing I want to say about that is I see a lot of people out there. Some of us we struggle to grow our channels. You know what I mean? And you guys can see here, I've got barely over 400 subscribers. We struggle to grow our channels. We struggle to get audiences. We struggle to get people into our videos to click them and to help us grow. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Okay, now for one, you're never gonna satisfy everybody. You're not gonna satisfy everybody, so you shouldn't. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't strive to make great content and content that you like making, because you definitely want to make content that you like making. Otherwise, you're not gonna keep making it. You're not gonna keep having the passion and bringing the joy to it. But the other thing is while there are other people out there who may not enjoy your content, you still got to do things to bring it to grow in your audience members. And a lot of that comes with, for one, like listening to your audience and seeing what they have to say and taking their input and putting it into videos. Now, I'm not sure if you guys have been paying attention to a whole lot of my videos, but in the recent month or two, I have been changing some things up, minor tweaks here on the channel. Now, one of those was somebody actually suggested to me in one of my videos one day, and I don't even think they were a subscriber. I think it was just somebody who ended up coming here and checking out the channel one day and commented on one of my videos, and they said, "Hey, I'm digging your content, but the one thing is if you watching your videos when I was doing like my comic book pull list or just any of them, I had my music on there and it would be turned up and it would be in the background. It would be just sitting there like I don't know, maybe sitting there like this in the middle of my videos, and they're like it's not bad the music or anything, but what it is, it's kind of distracting and takes away from it a little bit. So I went ahead and I stopped doing the music during the videos, and now I mostly just keep it to my voice. And I did that because out of a suggestion of somebody, and now I just have it on the intros and then on the outros. And I'm not sure if anybody's noticed, but that's one of the things I've done. One of the other things I've done is I got some other feedback from some other viewers as well about other things to improve. And one of those is sometimes, and I really understand it coming from my viewers. It's obviously somebody who has watched some of my videos, is that like when I'm doing some of my comic book pull lists or my reviews, is I move around a lot, like I'm an active person, and I can't help it, but like when I'm here doing this show, it's because I like to keep it lively and things like that. But when I'm doing a comic book review, I get it could be very distracting, and for me, I'm one of those people who, yeah, I guess I'm kind of animated. I like to move around and all these kinds of things, but I took that into account because I think it was something very important and very valuable that I think is going to help me in the future, and that is calming down. So what I've started to do in my live streams, I'm not sure if you guys can see this right here. I'll move out. So that's the only way that I'm going to be able to get that done, with kind of slowing it down. And I kind of realized, oh, what happened? Oh, I realized that input was 100% accurate, and I get that because when I'm watching a comic book review, I don't need somebody to bring a whole lot of energy. If they bring some energy to go ahead and get me into the video and then set me down and sit back and then kind of relax, some very valuable feedback that I've been getting from people, and I do truly appreciate every single one of you who provides that feedback for me. Now I did go ahead and drop a link down in the description where you can go if you would like to send direct donations to me via Streamlabs. I'm not streaming on Streamlabs right now because for some reason I can't get it to work on my computer. I run on a Mac, and for some reason the thing that they had through Streamlabs, it's not working on my Mac. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what it is, but like I did do my live stream on my phone. I can do through Streamlabs, and they, it'll pop up and all of those kinds of things. But you can still feel free to always go, drop $1, 5, 10, whatever. 50 cents. I don't know if you can do 50 cents, but you can feel free to do that. And most of the links, like I said, you can go to my Patreon and support there as well, so I can help get some better lighting and things like that. But again, you guys don't have to do that. I just appreciate you guys being here. But part of my reason I did for starting that, in case you guys don't know, I'm not a monetized channel for one. I feel like I make decent content, and I think any content creator out there that's making content, if you feel it's good enough and other people feel it's good enough, and you have an audience, you should don't be ashamed to ask for donations, for people to support you. As we're small channels, that doesn't mean that people shouldn't be able to toss you $1 just because YouTube doesn't have you monetized or anything. And part of the reason I also did that too is because I always kind of figured, I've built, I don't have a fully engaged core group of subscribers. I have a good handful of you all that come in and watch my videos regularly and support the channel. But my whole thing is like, say there's 20% of you or 30% of you who are actually engaged and really like my content and want to be supportive of that. Now, I figured, as I'm building that audience to get to 1,000, let's say I get to 1,000, I get monetized and all of those good things, and everyone's happy. We're gonna have a live stream, yay, and just celebrate. But if along those ways I have one person, say 30% of my audience engaged and wanting to support, and if I got to 1,000 and each one was just donating $1. 30% would be what? It'd be like, like $30, right? Or $300 for the month, per month. If I had 300 Patreon supporters just donating $1 a month, and that to me as a small content creator, especially being at 1,000 subs, means more to me to not put ads in my videos and all that stuff. The things that people do once they actually get monetized to make a few dollars. You know what I mean? I don't feel I need to put ads on my videos. For one, I fucking hate sitting through ads on, whether it's on TV and especially YouTube. Especially fucking YouTube. You know why? Because we're just content creators. We're just little people here doing stuff. Now, there are bigger channels out there who have, big productions and all that stuff, and I get it. And, maybe if you're one of those big YouTubers who has, 100,000, 200,000, a million subscribers and all that stuff, sure. I mean, by the time I got to that point, I would do that too, because it would just be stupid, absolutely stupid not to. But I mean, as far as I'm concerned, while I'm setting it, under 1,000, under 20,000, 30,000, I mean, if I'm not getting the clicks and the drive, why not just ask my awesome viewers to just donate $1, right? I don't know. I don't think it's too much. And believe me when I say I'm never really going to beg for it. I'm just going to ask that you awesome people do something like that. And I do greatly appreciate it. TJC says, false advertising. That place looks too nice to be a trailer. Yeah, it's not really a trailer, like, oh man, this is like one of the, I've been called out on this before, but you know what it is kind of, I came up with the name for my channel. I came up with the name for my channel through where I grew up at back home. Me and all my friends, we grew up on this, going to my friend's house, and my friends, they lived on 2nd Street. And that's pretty much where we all hung out and just had the best of times, hanging out in the old garage and listening to music and just jamming, having a good old time, busting each other's balls and everything, man. It was just some good times, and that's kind of where I came from. It was 2nd Street, so that's how I kind of got that. And then Marvel, I kind of got it obviously from Marvel Comics, but at the same time, I always kind of figured I've thought about rebranding and changing the name several times, but I'm like, I don't know, for some reason 2nd Street Marvel just stuck with me, and I can't get it. I've thought of some different things, and I thought it was going to be good. Like one of them I thought was 507 Felon, but then which is something that it's something I can't really ask for permission from certain people anymore anyway. But it was something, and then one of my friends was like, yeah, I'm not sure, like, just the word felon in there, people might not like that so much. I'm like, okay, yeah, good point. But yeah, that's where the second Street come from. In the trailer part, the Trailer Park Live and everything, I came up with Trailer Park Live, Trailer Park News, and all that stuff just out of growing up. I guess you would have said that me and a lot of my friends were white trash. That's what they kind of labeled us as. And so I was like, well, where does white trash come from? Trailer parks, man. That's where they come from. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I went ahead and started calling the channel Second Street Marvel, and we got that show there, the Trailer Park News, so you guys should check that out sometime. I usually do that on Mondays, but I missed it this past Monday because man, it was a holiday and I was really busy and stuff. So I didn't really get a chance to go ahead and do it and give you all the comic previews. But that's kind of where it came from. And also, I actually kind of did the whole trailer park thing as a it's just kind of a joke because the trailer park, like the trailer park is going to be like bootleg, like my homie Fatal J. The trailer park is is going to have bootleg things there, just kind of trashy. And I also started that because of a lot of the clickbaity bullshit that we see out there on YouTube every single day with coming out of channels like We Got This Covered, H&N Entertainment, and all those different clickbaity websites out there that I love to make fun of so much. Even my boy Warstu, I occasionally take some pokes at him. You know what I mean? Just laughing at some of this clickbaity news because I find it absolutely hilarious, and that's where I kind of got it from. Because it's secondhand news, man, and this isn't the real news. This is like trailer park news, and we got the real newses. We got the real newses for you. So that's why you should tune in. And so that's kind of where the trailer park came in, because believe me, even my friends from back home was like, man, you ain't in no trailer. You ain't even on 2nd Street. And I'm like, well, I'm on 62nd Street, and it's not a trailer, but I mean, I don't know. I thought it was funny. And anyway, maybe it's just wrong of me to do that, man. I am being deceitful, man, and being clickbaity and false advertising. Dang it. Dang it, you got me, Shellback TJC. And thank you so much for being here, man. I do greatly appreciate it. Now, as I was saying, some of the other stuff about being a content creator, some of us struggle to get views. And one of the things that I think a lot of us don't really think about is, why are people going to come to your channel? Why are people going to come watch? Okay, now I do these live streams a lot, and people aren't going to come to my channel just for these live streams, just because maybe I have good camera quality, good audio quality, and all that. People aren't just going to show up for that. What you got to do is, and that's what we got to listen to the feedback from our viewers from, is because you got to get in there, and you got to be yourself. I already covered that. You got to be yourself. Don't compromise who you are just to get some clicks and some views. Be genuine. For one, be genuine, and just let your feelings be heard. Let them be said. Whether you're doing movie reviews, whether you're doing trailer reactions or anything like that, just be who you are. Be yourself. But in that also means that you've got to be genuine in your content. And to me, what I mean by that is you've got to have, there's different types of content out there, and I can't exactly explain it all, but pretty much what you have is like your hub content. Your hub content is the stuff that like people come to you for. Like you can see, I talk a lot about comic books, and we'll just go with that for now because I don't talk about them as much as I should. But like say like people come to me to hear me talk about comic books, right? So I'm gonna get this audience that's all always searching out for me for comic books and just some of the the comic book stuff that I talk about, or maybe some of the movie stuff I talk about, and they're just sitting there for that. Like you guys right here, you guys are here for a lot of maybe just the core of my content. But then you've also got your hero content. You've got your core content, and then you're gonna have your hero content. And what your hero content is what's gonna get put out there by the YouTube algorithm to bring outliers in, because depending on the type of content you make, it's only going to be put out to specific people. It's only going to be put out to specific people who watch the kind of content you make or who like the kind of content you make. And sometimes, and that's what I noticed with a lot of creators, is your content is kind of all over the place, and you don't have any core content, and that's what's going to throw off the algorithm, and that's what keeps you from getting like the high click-through rates, the high impressions, and things like that. Is you've got to have that core bit of content, and then occasionally maybe you put out some videos that are a little bit outside of your norm, or touch on things that are maybe just a little bit outside of what you normally do. And you've got to make each one of those counts click every single time somebody clicks on one of those videos to get to your channel to watch them. So it's something that's very important. And then I know there's like some other kinds of content as well, but basically, like I said, you've got to have your core niche of content, and then go outside of that occasionally, and to connect with people and hopefully bring them in. And then after that, it's really up to us to go ahead and grow it. Now, another thing that I've just recently come upon, and it's something I've honestly got to work with, aside from being SEO, is like clickbait. You guys hear me on this channel talk a lot about clickbait and all that kinds of crap, and what you got to do to kind of get people's attention. You've got to, and this is going to segue me into the next thing that I want to talk about. Is you've got to you just like your content and the clickbaiting. Like me, the one thing I know I got to work on is my thumbnails. And the reason that's so important is because I didn't realize this. I had Josh from the Den of Nerds explain some of this stuff. Is YouTube does a lot with those thumbnails. They look a lot at them. So a lot of times you've seen some of my past thumbnails where you got my face on a lot of them, just with the posters in the background and that kinds of stuff. YouTube, I'm nobody. Okay, I'm nobody. The posters in the background might help, but they're never the focus. And YouTube don't know what to do with that. They're just like, okay, well, here's this video. But if in your thumbnail, all of a sudden, and that's why you see a lot of the people do some of these kind of crazy thumbnails they do, is that, it knows, like maybe it knows what to do when it sees this picture in my thumbnail. It knows, oh, Black Widow. Okay, so we'll push that into. It's got this image, this image. So we're gonna push that out to these people who create this type of content. So you've got to work on things like that. And like I said, I'm no professional. I'm not good at it. I'm not good at it myself. But that's one of the things you got to do. Aside from just trying your best to make good quality content and promote yourselves. It's just some of these things, kind of little things that. People don't really ever tell you about. And the other thing, I mean, obviously you've got to bring attention to yourself, and that's really the big thing, where I think a lot of us go wrong, or sometimes we even go right, which is going to take me into my next thing that I want to talk about, and that's getting attention on your channel and bringing attention to yourself. And it's been quite an interesting week for that. And let's go ahead and get back here into live chats really quick. Look, Nerdy Bird, welcome to the live stream. Thank you so much for being here. I greatly appreciate it. And in case you guys don't know, in case you guys have never been to Nerdy Blurb TV's channel, you need to go check Brian out. Absolutely great dude. Love this dude to death. One of these days, I'm gonna meet this guy and I'm gonna give him a big bear hug, just because I love this dude so much. But he actually made the intro and outro that I use in my videos. He provided that. Such an awesome dude. I didn't even ask him to. He just asked me like, "Hey, do you mind if I, do this?" And so I was like, "Yeah, sure. I don't care." He went and had to send it to me. Absolutely great. Great little intro that I got there. Thanks a lot, Ryan. I do greatly appreciate that, dude. You the man. You the man, dude. LB, the Lonely Banter, man. If you guys don't know the Lonely Banter, well, what the hell? Where the hell you guys been at? Living under a rock? Showback TJC says, I spent some time as trailer trash, so me, that's why I like you, bro. Yeah, maybe so, man. Maybe so. You know what? Because, people, trailer trash, we keep it real, man. We keeps it real. Marty McFly says, that's what that's what Dr. Smith? What? Is that Doctor? Is that supposed to be? I don't know. I don't know, man. It looks like some of your typing went off there. This stream is turtle approved. Okay, Marty McFly says, brother, it's called selling soap from the great Herb Nero. Put out what everyone needs, such as soap. I'm not sure what that comes from, but okay, yeah, people do need soap. I might need some soap after it's been a hot day today. What are your thoughts on the Anunnaki and their lore? I have no clue, man. I have no clue. You got me there. You got me there. I don't know what the Anunnaki and Anunnaki is. Rob Baruch, welcome to the live stream. Thank you so much for being here. He says, I actually appreciate hearing this. I met Hialeah today at Phil's comic shop, and we had this exact conversation. Oh, which one? Like about like some of like the YouTube content stuff, like getting noticed out there. Yeah, definitely. Damn buffering. Oh, is that you or is that me? Is my stream jacking up? I don't know. It seems okay. All right, just making sure. Just making sure, and if it ever is, please let me know down in the comments. Nathan Big Game, welcome to the live stream. Appreciate you being here, man. I'm sure that you're probably at work, maybe on a lunch break or something. And thank you all once again for being here. Now, now, as I was saying, being these content creators, sometimes you can see like I'm getting ready to bring some guests on for my shows next week, and I want to bring more guests on for that so I can help up the quality and of my channel. Now. And that's one way, and I got to tell you, that's one of the things I'm bad at is because you know what? There's probably a lot of people out there that may not want to collaborate with me. You know why? Because I'm an asshole. I'm a bully. and I can't help it. And I'm not really a bully. Drunk 3PO just said that, and it really hit me in the feelings. No, it didn't. I think it's just because, one of the things I was talking about is many people take themselves too seriously. And, and that can be a good thing and it can be a bad thing. But, the thing is I get online, I like to heckle people, I like to kind of push people a little bit, like not desperately seeking attention, but sure, seeking some attention at the same time, kind of rattling people to keep people on their toes, keep them thinking, and just honestly it keeps us humble at the same time. But one of the things we got to do, and I've talked about this a lot at length here on the show, is there's some people out there, you don't want to spread hate. If you dislike something, dislike it, air your feelings about it, and that's all fine. But the thing is when you beat a dead horse, and you just, how long can you do it for, and how long is it going to last? How long is that going to be a viable product for you to keep putting out there? And that's something that I thought was really great about this week, because it's something I talk about a lot. I've been wanting to bring people onto the show to kind of talk about some of these kinds of things, and I did some live streams kind of relating to these topics. But the one thing is like earlier this week, I'm not sure if any of you guys know Black Angus Reviews. If you guys don't know who Black Angus Reviews is, you should definitely go check out his channel. He does some live streams, gets into some talks about comic books and just other things as well. And and I think he does make some content like we all make sometimes. That's not the best content in the world to get you pushed out in a positive way into the YouTube algorithm. And that's all fine, because that's not everything we do is going to be popular. But I will tell you, earlier this week on Wednesday, he actually did this really great live stream I was looking forward to. And for the most part, it was a pretty good conversation he had with Mad Max movie. Is it Mad Max movie reviews? I think that was the name of the channel. And I got to tell you, I really enjoyed that live stream, because what it is Mad Max movie reviews has gone out there. I don't even know where I found that guy's channel or anything, but all of a sudden like his videos started popping up in my subscription feed out of nowhere, and I went and I was like, where'd this come from? So I went and I clicked on some of his videos, and I thought it was absolutely hilarious. The dude, he's got like he's got a Doctor Doom mask. He's got a like a Ghost Rider mask as well. He gets on there and he was just on there being crazy. And like I watched his videos, and his absolute hilarity. He had me laughing, he had me busting up. And then Black Angus actually had him on his show just the other day, and I thought it was a really great conversation, and I think something that more people need to take a look at, and go check out that stream. But you know what, go into it with an open mind, because I think that's one thing that a lot of us seem to do is, a lot of times we get in these conversations where you want to, a lot of people will, they'll just be, it's funny because me and Marty McFly Sr. were talking about this earlier too, earlier today, is a lot of times when we're in conversations, we're engaged, maybe we're listening, but we're just listening to respond. We're not actually listening to understand. And I was on this live stream the other day with Black English Reviews, where he was talking with Mad Max Movie Talk. Movie reviews is one of those. And it was a really great conversation. It started off really great, and then some things kind of started happening in the chats, and everybody kind of just, it got a little bit out of hand. People got, and that's, it's just how people get. You can't control how other people are or how other people take things, and you still just got to make and say what you got to say to get it put out there. And but it just kind of, at some point, there comes a point where some people just let their emotions get the best of them, and they become irrational, or maybe they just want to be fucking assholes, and for whatever reason, because there was somebody in the comments that day being a fucking idiot. And not that they were wrong about anything, they're just being a fucking idiot because they can't have an open conversation. And that's what I liked about that live stream the other day, because I thought it was something that was important, because Black Angus went out talking to this guy about some of his content, and just kind of some of like the Fandom Menace and the Fandom Collective, and which are two different things. Which the Fandom Collective is actually part of the Fandom Menace. They're just like another branch of them, of content creators, where they're going out and they just kind of help promote each other's videos, and they share them a lot on Twitter and things like that. Pretty cool group of like, they started sharing my stuff and tagging me in it. I'm like, hey, cool, like, I follow these creators and everything, and I watch their videos as well. So it's something cool. But what kind of happened is, through that live stream, is there kind of started to become a divide. Like, I know even Sith Kryptonian got in there, was a little bit upset because some of the things like were being said, and he thought that they were being portrayed wrong. That the Fandom Collective was being portrayed wrong, and I totally get that. And that's the problem when we get into some of these things, and I've talked a lot about this. Whether it's the fandom collective, whether it's the fandom menace or anything like that, is you get a big group of people together. Not everybody is always going to agree on stuff. Not everybody is going to be friends. Not everybody has the same views. And that being known, it seems like some people just don't realize that. And that's just how it is. I mean, even and I've seen the same thing happen somewhat. And I talked about this before, and I don't know a whole lot about Comicsgate, but I've seen just kind of some unrest going on in the Comicsgate community a while back, and some of it actually kind of got called out by content creator over at Pocket Jacks Comics, Preston Poulter, and he brought up some points, and Ethan Van Sciver went and made a video, like an hour and 20-minute long video about this little 15-minute video that Preston Poulter had made. And it kind of, to me, it just kind of opens a dialogue, but it just made me think like these people need to get together and talk about things, because nobody's being served well here. The narrative isn't very good for comic skaters or even these individuals, because a lot of it comes from perception. Like a lot of people perceive Ethan Van Sciver to be the leader of Comicsgate, and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Which even he said like, yeah, it's not necessarily true. And and Preston Poulter kind of put that out there, like oh well, he's the leader of Comicsgate and all this stuff. And it's like, well, and me, I don't even know enough about this stuff, but I'm like, I get what he's saying, but I think some of that is perception versus reality when it comes right down to that, because he's there's when it comes to these big old group things, there's nobody in charge. There's no set rules. You identify as fandom menace, you're a fandom menacer, and really, what does that mean? I mean, what's that mean for you? I know, I mean, for me, it means nothing because I'm not part of the fandom menace. But, it probably means something a little bit different to everybody. They all have different reasons for being part of this group and, identifying with this group. And like I said, in any group of people, you're never going to get people that are going to 100% agree on every single issue. There is probably always going to be some sort of unrest within these groups of people. And the thing is Black Angus had this. The stream on, and I thought it was really good because they were getting together. He's getting together with somebody that has been controversial out there in the YouTube world, I would say, and just kind of voicing his opinions about some different things. And but now the thing is um, I like and respect that Mad Max movie reviews or whatever when I found him, because I'm like, this dude's a madman, he's crazy. And and some people obviously take issue with him because he's calling out Jeremy, Geeks and Gamers, and a lot of those kinds of things a lot in his videos. And that's another thing about us being content creators and what we need to do, and that's something I've talked about at length here on the channel, about people just spreading hate. I mean, do you really want to spread hate out there? I mean, do you really have to keep going after people? Do you have to just like keep trying to beat people up? You know what I mean? Like it's not good. You got to have more than that. And I think that's kind of what something that I really took away from that conversation, which I knew anyway. But that's something it seemed like they were kind of talking about too. Was they were talking about this guy Mad Max. He's gone after Jeremy and Geeks and Gamers. I can guarantee you they probably don't even care. Or maybe even if they do, they're probably like, yeah, there's no real reason to spawn. People are gonna hate us. They're gonna like us. It doesn't really matter when you got that. But the thing is as funny as this guy is, this Mad Max movie reviews, as much as I like his content, at the same time, it still comes down to the only videos I've seen from him, and I didn't go back and watch his full catalog of videos, but that's all he was talking about, is he was just going out on these assaults on Jeremy and Geeks and Gamers and those kinds of things. And, like I said, you make a video about it, that's fine, you got 2 videos, that's all good, but when you're constantly beating this dead horse, it gets to be a little bit old and a little bit repetitive, and it's definitely something that's not only going to stunt your channel's growth, and he's got a fairly big channel, he's got a big channel, bigger channel than mine, hell, who doesn't? But the thing is, it still kind of stunts your growth too. And, and obviously you're still putting all those negative vibes out there in the world. And some people are going to start to tune out. Some people aren't going to want to hear it. And at some point it becomes just desperate attempts for attention. And that's not ever what you want to do, is be desperate attempts for attention. And I think that's one of the things that Black Angus was pointing out during this conversation. I even heard him say that to Mad Max, is like, you know what? He's like, I want to see more out of you. He's like, I think you got fairly good content, and you have some good points, and you have some good views. I mean, you're a funny dude, but let's see more creativity out of it. And that's something that I always want to see out of different content creators here on YouTube. And honestly, it's part of the reason why I don't subscribe to some of the channels that there are out there. Even some of the bigger channels, and some of these channels are so big they don't need my support. They don't need my support. And in that way, and having my subscription and me in there liking their videos and interacting and all that stuff, they're huge. Like Geeks and Gamers, you think just because I don't watch Geeks and Gamers, you think Jeremy over at Geeks and Gamers or any of those guys or Josiah or anybody else that helps out Geeks and Gamers gives a shit? Whether I'm fucking subscribed to them and commenting on their videos, fuck no, they don't care. You know why? Because they're a big channel, and and the thing is I don't have any reason to go after them because their content's all right. It's not for me though. They don't put out enough consistent content that I like, that I want to watch. So I just don't. I occasionally stop by. Something will come across my home screen and I'll see it and I'm like, oh, I'll click on it and watch for a few minutes. And just those kinds of things. Like Drunk 3PO this evening, he was on Nerdrotic. I hopped in there for a couple of minutes, just kind of listen to the conversation going on, and just some of those different kind of things. Again, a lot of these channels don't do enough consistent content that I like. I mean, if you're out there doing a bunch of fucking get woke, go broke content, chances are I'm not going to subscribe to your fucking channel, because you can you can fuck off with those opinions. Because I can guarantee you, if you're one of those people doing all that get woke, go broke bullshit, that's all you fucking got, and that's the only content that you're going to do. And I'm not saying that that's the only content that they do, but it's a majority of the content that they do. I'm just not into it. I mean, you're free to have your opinions and stuff like that. Just like I have mine. I just don't want to make that kind of content. I've got more to say than Hollywood's gone woke. Why don't you just not go to this movie because the fucking writer said this and that, and they got this fucking agenda they're pushing. It's fucking bullshit. I don't like seeing it in my movies. Movies shouldn't be fucking political because it's fucking stupid. It's not. For some things it is. Now, when you're talking about like our comic book movies and shit like that, Star Wars, yeah, it's pretty pointless because like in Star Wars, in The Last Jedi, how they took it too far with it wasn't even political allegories. It was like literally like shit going on in our world like directly put into the Star Wars movie. And that's not how it is. Star Wars has always kind of been an allegory for those politics and things, right? Been an allegory for it. They're not beating you over the head with it. Ryan Johnson came out and fucking crashed the motherfucking Star Destroyer into the shit. He didn't fucking beat you over the head with a bat. He beat you over the head with the fucking Star Destroyer. And that's the thing is I'm just not into that kind of stuff. Now, if you did, you just trying to capitalize on just I don't not even just hate, but just things like that. I mean, surely you got more to say than just that. I mean, you got more. I mean, is that all you got? Is fucking Fox News bullshit? That's mainstream media bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, come on, guys. And like I said, it's nothing bad about these channels. It's just they don't put out enough content that I like. Ethan Van Sciver, a great channel. And I was talking about this the other day. Great channel, funny dude. Love a lot of the stuff that he does, but he don't put out enough regular content that I like. But I do occasionally get on all of these channels, watch some videos, give them likes, maybe leave some comments, maybe not comment some stuff, but I'll give them likes and things like that. But it's just about what kind of content do you like? What kind of content do you want to see? Me, I mean, and plus I subscribed to so many channels, and I've got other people that I support and things like that are other smaller content creators that do these similar videos without doing it in the same way. Are they the same quality? No, but me being there viewing and sharing my insights and my feelings and my views on theirs, I can hopefully help them improve and move forward. Where Geeks and Gamers, a Nerdrotic, even Young Ripa, they're big channels. Of course, I am a Patreon supporter of Young Ripa, and anytime I'm ever on YouTube and I see one of his live streams, you can bet I'm fucking clicking on that shit quick as hell, just because he's a fucking great content creator. But again, you can go to his channel and you can see that he don't do the same thing. Like, he talks about a lot of stuff, but he's not one of these people that's out there talking about shit and being mad just to be mad. He talks about stuff and he has a very specific point. He has very good reasons for what he's talking about. Now, you can say that a lot of these other channels do too because of this or that or whatever, but again, I mean, they're just kind of picking at everything. And if you go watch a lot of these other channels, and I'm not talking about anybody specific here, is a lot of these people are getting their information from the worst fucking places that you can get them from. We got this covered. Bounding into Comics, H&N Entertainment, all these other places I named before, War Stew, all of these kinds of things that kind of perpetuate things that aren't true. It's falsisms. They're not accurate reports. They're not accurate portrayals of what's exactly going on, because ultimately a lot of these outlets, like these websites, are, they have people that are there not writing to tell news necessarily, they're writing to give you their views on the news. So it's basically just secondhand news. And that's one of the things I always stress here, is when you hear stories, go find who wrote the story. Okay, and most of these channels, or not most of these channels, but most of these websites, they actually list their sources in there. They have them highlighted. It's at the bottom of the page where you can go there. You go to any We Got This Covered article, and it'll tell you down in the bottom, like, the source for this was X. You know what I mean? Or it'll have, a little link in there in the article where you can click on, and it'll take you to the other article of wherever that they got their information from. So again, it's just like secondhand information. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, I'm a content creator, and I do the same thing. I talk about this stuff, but I'm not regurgitating old articles or anything like that. I'll just talk about this stuff here on my channel. So that, I mean, to me, that's a little bit different, because I don't, and I've talked about this before, I don't need to see somebody reading an article to me on screen. I feel like it fucking insults my intelligence. I know how to read. Put the goddamn link down in the description. I'll go read the damn thing, and then I can come back and watch your video, because I don't want to sit here and watch a fucking 20-minute video of you fucking, half of it, 15 minutes of it is you reading a goddamn article. That's not what's needed. I just need your comment on it. You can just say, like, okay, well, there's this article that was put out by The Blaze or whatnot, and I don't know, I just came up with a name there. And I know that's an actual channel and stuff, but yeah. And here's what they said. They're talking about this, but here's what they said, and here's what I want to talk about, and then share your feelings about it. Because like I said, I feel like you're insulting my intelligence, and that's one reason I don't follow a lot of these other channels too, is they're talking about the same old clickbaity bullshit. And not only that, but a lot of these content creators are actually just ripping off other content creators talking about the same old shit that they do. So, there's only so much of it we can take in. So, I mean, I get it. I mean, if you have a unique voice or something else different to say it, and you don't have to keep beating it up. And again, some of these other channels, that's just the core of their content, and that's pretty much just who they are, and that's all they've got. You know what I mean? And I notice a lot of these same kind of websites, and it's not even just hate that they have, but that's really all they have. Like, I see some of these people who out there who claim to love movies and be movie reviewers or movie bloggers or anything like that, and they don't even fucking watch movies. And a lot of them, I can't even recall that they ever did a video where they said they like a movie. Because most of these channels, when you go to them, if you like something, you're a fucking shill, right? And to me, it's absolutely ridiculous. And I was talking about this the other day on my stream too. Is there's people out there calling Kevin Smith a shill? Is Kevin Smith a fucking shill? When the fuck did Kevin Smith become the fucking enemy of everybody? Do you know who the fuck Kevin Smith is? Jesus Christ, man. Just because Kevin Smith goes out there and praises Kevin Feige and the MCU doesn't mean he's a fucking shill. It means he's an old man like myself, that when we were growing up in the world, we didn't have any of these great fucking comic book movies. We had fucking Superman. We had Batman. We hardly had shit. They were few and fucking far between. And now, because Kevin Smith gets on fucking screen and starts crying because he went and seen Magneto on screen and he absolutely fucking loved it. And yeah, sure, it leaves some stuff to be desired. Sure, MCU Spider-Man isn't that great, but that makes him a fucking shill for enjoying it and saying that he fucking loves it and crying on screen? Get the fuck out of here. Fucking Kevin Smith has way more clout than you do. To call him a shill, you're a fucking idiot, and fuck you. Sorry. Maybe I need to cool down after that. But that's just how I feel about it. Because I'm getting tired of this shit. Just because somebody enjoys something makes them a fucking shill, And that's what I hear out of all these fucking people, man. And that's part of the reason why you see me when I'm going online and busting people's balls and shit. Most of the time I'm joking, but most of the time the people take it too seriously. You know why? Because they take themselves too seriously. Can't take a fucking joke. And not only that, but not only taking a joke, but you got to remember another thing too, is jokes halfway come from somewhere, right? They're always halfway, There's always truth to them. There's always truth to them. So maybe that's why people always get mad when people are joking around online and stuff like that, is because, the joke's got to come from somewhere, right? Anyway, I don't know. That's just how I feel about it. About those kinds of things, man. It's like these days you just can't be yourself. You can't enjoy something without you being the asshole. You're just looking for something. You're looking for a one up, and I don't know. It just kind of makes me sick. It just kind of makes me sick. Okay, now, before I carry on, I guess maybe I should get back here into the live stream and thank you all for being here again. Um, let's see. What you're doing is selling soap. Oh, okay. All right. I get it. I get you. Rob Worth says, getting noticed. How we feel before going on camera, preparation before we even turn on the camera. I'm not exactly for sure what you're getting at there. Getting noticed, how we feel about before. Oh, okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. Like being prepared and knowing what you got to do, and that's the other thing. Like when it comes to with the creators is like with your content, knowing, and that's the thing about all these videos where they're just talking a bunch of shit and spreading a bunch of hate is for one, people can only put up with so much of that. Even people who like the content and agree with you only want to see so much. They can only handle so much of it. I can guarantee you. I can guarantee you that. Even the Senate himself the other day was saying in a live stream, he's like, "Man, this gets fucking exhausting," you know. And the thing is because all the people are making the same fucking video saying the same fucking thing, and there's only so many times you can watch it. It drives a person nuts. It drives a person nuts, and that is why you got to think about what you want to say, because you got to think about what your thing is. Even if you are saying something, a message that you got to say that might be somewhat hateful, or you just don't like this or you don't like that, you got to think about what you're saying to get people to want to watch your video instead of somebody else's video. And the ultimate thing is are you adding value to something? Not, I mean, maybe are you adding value to a conversation? Are you adding value to somebody else's perception, or adding value? Am I adding value by talking about the comic books? You know what I mean? Adding value by giving you valuable insights to this comic book to whether you might be interested or not. I can't just give you valuable insights to this book by simply saying, "Oh, this book is good. This book sucks." That doesn't tell you nothing to go off of, because I might think it's good. I might think it sucks. But what does that mean to you? What does that mean to you? That's why you got to tell people, like, the reason I think this is good is because the characters are really well thought out. We get introduced into them, and I kind of got invested in this character after the first issue. The art in it was really good. I gotta say, like, the art really adds to the story. Now there are some things in this book that, there's like some political narratives that some people may not like. There's some identity politics stuff in there that people may not like. Things like that. That's where you're adding value to your content and carrying it forward. It's not just a matter of and that's the thing that's good about some of these people who are doing a lot of these things, spreading some of this negativity, is because the one thing that they do is they give you that value, and you know how they feel about things. Okay, you know their insights and how they feel about it, aside from and as they're telling you whatever it is they're telling you. But the thing is if they're just telling you, just a bunch of shit, then it's really pointless. So we got to find ways to add. If you're gonna do that constantly, you've got to make sure that however you're doing it is in a way that adds value to others. Helps their insights and things like that out. Because like I said, just coming out with a plain "it sucks" doesn't mean anything, and it's just such a simplistic view that a 6-year-old could give. You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's just me, and but that's something that we should think about. Is and it's something you need to think about before even hitting the record button on your camera. Is like, what am I gonna say? How am I gonna say it? Because like you don't want to give. If you have bad news to give to somebody, are you gonna do it like, "Hey, you know what? I hope you're having a good day, but you know what just happened? Your mom just died." Right? That's not how you do it. I mean, you got to think about those kinds of things. So yeah, certainly being prepared and wanting to know how you're going to present it when you get on camera. But the other thing, like you're saying, Rob Worst, getting noticed. That's another thing too. Is how are you going to get noticed? Chances are, in most cases, you always want to do it. You want to get noticed in a good way for good things, not for bad things. Okay, and not that there's anything wrong with a lot of the stuff out there, but you want to get noticed for good things, not for bad things. All the the negativity, the hate, and everything. To me, those are bad things because I'm not a hateful person. As a matter of fact, I've talked about that a lot on this channel. And that's a lot of the reasons why if you guys see me just like I was talking a minute ago and going off and getting ready to turn red in the face, is because I feel passionate about these things. I feel passionate about these things, and I only throw what little shade I do at channels when I talk about these things, like We Got This Covered, like a Bounding Into Comics, like the Geeks and Gamers and stuff like that, is because it's just me being honest. It's not me saying I hate it. It's me sharing my opinions on it, because that's how I feel about it. I'm not saying they suck. I'm not saying anything like that. That's just how I feel about it. And to somebody else, to some people, they might like that, but me, I don't. And that's why I still like to remain somewhat critical about it, and or somewhat objective about it, and will give you guys my reasons for why I don't like it. Like I said, like we got this covered. Bunch of clickbaity bullshit news that you can find anywhere. Now, occasionally they do have some articles that they have wrote that are good articles. They're not bad articles, but most of the majority of their content is just clickbaity stuff that adds no value to me as one of their readers or one of their viewers. And that's certainly something that we should all definitely think about when it comes to those kinds of things, and getting noticed out there. And that's why, I said I talk a lot about these kinds of things, so you know where I stand. And you also know that as much as I may not like something, I don't think that a lot of these people suck. They just don't make content for me. Maybe I suck, and maybe I don't. I don't know. I don't know. But that's the thing is, and the getting noticed thing. I mean, you want to, like I said, you want to get noticed in a positive way, not in a negative way, and that's why most places I won't go. I won't go too hard at. Now, the people I will go hard after are people who have come after me, and them I will never fucking relent on. Just kind of like that one douchebag over at Cosmic Wonder. I'm sure you guys have heard me talk about him before, and I'm not going to bring him up very much more because things that I don't like, and that's the thing. That's the thing. When it comes to those things that you don't like, that you want to be hateful about, is I see a lot of people doing this. They're talking about stuff they don't like, and these articles and stuff and these videos. If you don't like it, you just disagree. Why share it, right? Why share it? It's like like you taste something that's really bad and you're like, oh, here, you got to taste this, and you give it to somebody else to taste. Like, dude, like, you said it tastes like shit. Why would I want to taste it? You said this movie is crap. Why would I want to watch it? Now, movie's a different thing. You know what I mean? It's like, why do that? There's no need to ever spread things like that. You don't have to share those kinds of things. If you don't like it, why share it? Why bring more attention to it? Just like this, and this all kind of pertains into the same thing. Like with the Mad Max thing is, why do you want to keep bringing attention to it? If you don't like geeks and gamers, why are you going to keep talking about them in every single one of your fucking videos? It's like, to me, at some point, it comes to just get over it. Just get over it. You've already said your piece. Now get over it. Now let's move on. Let's get into some good content. Let's get into some good stuff. You know what I mean? That's what we want. We all want to hear and listen to the good stuff, not the same old boring crap. But yeah, how you do is up to you. Right. Very, very good. Rob Moore says, I would usually rather say nothing at all than go negative. Sometimes silence can speak volumes. That it can, Rob Worst. That it can. Sometimes the silence can be speak volumes, but at the same time, just because there's something that you don't like, you don't have to be negative neither. Now, there's times to be negative, but again, I don't think that if you're critical of something, that necessarily means that you're being negative. And even if you've got something bad to say or something hypercritical to say about something, that doesn't mean that it's done in negativity. The negativity comes more in how you present it and things like that. Because I recently did a video that I had done on a comic book that I've got to re-record. I think I was talking about this last week. That's how old it is. It's almost pointless now to make the video that I was talking about, and I was watching the video and I was like, man, I can't put this out there. People are gonna think that like I'm some hateful son of a bitch that fucking wants to see kids locked up and separated from their parents, which that's not how it is. But then I realized when I was watching this video, I'm like, man, that's how it's gonna sound. I'm gonna get a bunch of thumbs down because that's not exactly what I meant to say the way that I said it. So again, like you're saying, I mean, you got to be kind of careful. With the negativity and how it's presented, because sometimes we get so caught up in what we're saying, and we don't realize what we're saying. But at the same time, when we're saying those things, some of it kind of reveals our true colors, and we need to take a look at ourselves and examine and be like, okay, like, this came out of me, so obviously that's somewhere floating around in there. Now, I'll tell you, on this subject that I was talking about in this comic book, that wasn't the case. I was just talking about this story that was going on in this book, and it wasn't what necessarily was going on in the story, but it was what I said afterward, pertaining to it, because I was like, it's something I don't believe in, it's something I don't support, but it actually, I mean, it was, but not in the way that I had presented it before I said that. And so that's what kind of made me say, okay, I've got to go back and correct this, because a lot of people would take a lot of issue with this. If I seen this myself, I would take issue with it, because it was something pretty negative and pretty wrong, just put out there and say. Shellback says, if you're an asshole, you're a good asshole. Well, I try to be, but I'd like to think of myself more as a dick. More of, yeah, I'd say a dick. And, if you want to know the reference to that, just go back and watch Team America. Most people, Rob Ward says, most people are just waiting for their opportunity to talk. Yeah, they are. They are, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, because I think and that's the good thing about social media is we're all allowed to be heard now. Now the thing is how loud. Some of the louder voices are probably people that don't need to be heard. I'm sure we all know some of the people that we're talking about out there. That they're just too loud for no reason, and while they should be free to express their opinions, some people their opinions just aren't good ones. They're just not good ones, and they're not helping anybody out in the world. And I'm sure we all feel that way about somebody. That's for sure. The Senate. Welcome and welcome to the live stream. The Senate. I don't think I said hi to you when you got here, or you either, Rob. Where I don't think I said hi. It says, "Oh, we're talking Max." Yeah. It was Mad Max. And like I said, he's a funny dude, and I like some of his videos. But then I got through, and I started watching some of his videos, and it was funny because Angus even brought that up in that live stream. Was like, dude, that's all you're doing. That's all you're talking about is just your hate for Jeremy. And some of the people in the chats were saying that too. Like, that's all you've got, man. Like, come on, like you've got to show us more than that, man. And I agree, because I think the dude is probably a talented dude, but when you're just constantly going after somebody like that, they're gonna come back after you, and you might not like it when they do. You know what I mean? But again, I mean, I don't think he's going to go out there and do that without being able to, want to go ahead and defend himself neither. So, we all sometimes we all dig our own graves, and sometimes like I said, when you let it fester up and you build up, you go out there and you may say some things that you don't mean, or you may take it a little too far when you don't mean to. And I think that's one of the good things about getting it out there and letting it be said and letting it be heard. So just so you can get it off your chest, so it's not constantly building up in you, and a lot of those things. I think that's a good thing for us to voice our opinions. Um, Now let's see. I was somewhere back here. Okay, we're gonna be skipping some here because it jumped really big on me here. The sentence says, "I love Jeremy. He's fucking hilarious, but the Star Wars videos are too much sometimes." Yeah, and again, I've watched I've watched plenty of Geeks and Gamer stuff. Yeah, I mean, they've got some good content. They've got some funny stuff, and Jeremy himself, he seems like a cool guy and a pretty funny guy. But again, it's just one of those things. Like, my preference, I just don't like. I don't like enough of their content to subscribe, and I definitely don't dislike it enough to have to go out there and make a bunch of videos saying that I don't like Geeks and Gamers and F them or anything like that. It's just, I just don't watch all of their videos all the time. And I've done that recently. Went back through some of my subscriptions, unsubscribed from some of the people, just because, like, there's some of them like, it gets a little bit too repetitive. And like I said, a lot of these channels are bigger channels anyway, and they don't need me there, especially like because I'm not like going to be a regular. I'm going to be, for the most part, on some of these bigger channels like that. I'd just be a dead sub anyway, and I'm not like it's going to hurt their channels, but yeah, they don't need me there all the time. I'll pop in and say hello every now and again. Um, Showback says, "Well, wake up my mind, Snowdub. Well, welcome. I think you were here earlier, Snowdub. But my dad is like this. I may be adopted." Robert says, "Save $500 a year on milk. Click here to find out how." Right? Okay. Showback says, "So wait, does this mean you have yellow gloves?" Right, yellow gloves. I know I'm missing something here. I don't know. The sentence of my mind is too after that. Oh, okay. I see. Oh, I can see what you guys are talking about. All right. I got you. Snowdub says, "Oh, snap! Second Street did the lean into the camera, and that's that's when he's super serious." Yeah, right. Yep, that's how you know, man. That's how you know. Um, let's see. Where's my wrench? You know what? Honestly, I don't really have many wrenches out there. I don't know. I just haven't really given many out. I think LB has one. I think Drunk has one. And they got those. One day we were in here and things were getting all crazy and chaotic, and yeah, I don't really wrench a whole lot of people. And, you guys have seen here, I haven't really brought a whole lot of people onto the channel. I am somewhat bougie like that. I'm kind of picky about things. And that's not to say that I have anything against everybody. It's just, it's mostly on my end, wanting to get shit right. I want everything to look fucking beautiful on my channel. And so that's why a lot of that kind of stuff hasn't gone down. And I haven't got to do a whole lot of collaborations here on my channel, actually, is because I'm very picky about that kinds of stuff. And, so yeah, I don't know. I know I'm weird like that. I'll admit it. I'm weird like that. Stoner says, "Yep, just move on." Yeah, yeah, and just like move on with some of this stuff. Because honestly, let's see. Um, and that's the thing is because we need to move on, and that's why when I'm here a lot of the times, that's why I voice what I say. And when you guys, if anybody ever comes here to my channel and hears me talking shit, and if you think I'm directly talking shit about you and you think I think that you fucking suck, please, I mean, feel free to be upset about it, but don't be afraid to reach out to me and talk about it neither, because most of the time, I'm just flapping my gums about nonsense. And if you guys have been here before, that's what I do a lot on this channel, is flap my gums about nonsense. But I also give my honest opinions, my honest outlooks about stuff. And that's why I might go out there so far, like the one day I know the Senate, I was still waiting for that meme or your clip or whatever when I was talking shit about bounding into comics. I went off on them one day because it's the same thing, because it's just content that don't bring no value to me or my life or anything I do here on my channel. And it's stuff, a lot of it, these clickbaity things like the bounding into comics, like the we got this coverage and all those things out there. It's clickbaity bullshit that gets people upset when they read the shit in there, because you're not being fucking truthful on everything that you're saying and putting out there. You're not giving just like, if you want to report on shit, give just facts. Give just facts. Now, if you just want to be a commentator, sure, give your opinions. But I mean, which do you want to be? I mean, if you want to be a commentator, why the fuck are you giving us any facts? Just give us your fucking opinion, and that's it. That's all we need. And that's ultimately what a lot of these people are doing. Or like even like we got this covered. If you don't have an inside source, stop putting in your fucking articles that are just full of a bunch of bullshit. Like an inside source says. You don't have no fucking inside source, man. My next door neighbor is an inside source. He could be my source. You know, and that's the thing. Like I said. So if you guys ever see me here talking shit about you, know that a lot of times it's not anything serious. I'm just being honest. It's nothing personal. You can say stuff about me. I won't take it personal. Matter of fact, I think sometimes that's kind of the way I am, because I'm 40 years old, and there's certainly people a lot older than me that I see that have fucking skin that's about as thick as this paper towel right here. You know what I mean? Not very thick, because you just take shit personal. Like, I don't take myself that seriously. My ego isn't that big, and honestly, I mean, if you don't like what I say, or you don't like me or anything like that, more than likely I don't really give a shit. It's gonna roll right off my back. But the thing is, I mean, if you want to be critical of me and share, even if you don't like my content, and you want to share some critical insights, I have no problem with that. Believe me, if somebody comes out and wants to troll me and bust my balls, to the moon and back, I'm still going to listen to your input and deal with it and hopefully learn something from it. And that's the thing about me, as opposed to some of the other people out there, is that all they're hearing is, they just hear the criticism and they don't want to hear it. You know what I mean? They don't want to hear it. So they take it in a negative way, and therefore it hurts their ego. And makes them respond in the way they do. Like I said, me, I don't really care. I'll take your input and value it, and try to put it to some sort of use. And that's just the way I am. Even with all the discourse out there in the world, where people are going off on all these different things, like the SJW politics, the Democrats, the liberals, and the Republicans, and all that whole different shit. If you guys ever followed me on Facebook, if you were my friend on Facebook, you'd see I fucking love trolling Republicans. I love trolling Democrats. I pretty much love trolling just about everybody, because people take themselves far too seriously, and there's got to be somebody out there willing to shake them up a little bit and just say, throw water in their face and say, wake up, man. Wake up! You're being ridiculous. You're being ridiculous. And I'm certainly somebody that's certainly open to somebody slapping me in the face and throwing cold water in my face. I'm totally open to that, and that's part of the reason I do it too. And sharing my feelings is, somebody one of these days is gonna bite back, and they're gonna come back at me with something, and I'll be like, okay, cool. As long as you got some cool constructive criticism to share with me, hey, I'm more than willing and happy to listen. But if you're gonna come at me yelling, being an asshole, and all those kinds of things, I'm still going to listen, and I'm going to be like, okay, well, I guess I did my job today. I upset somebody, right? Pat on the back for me. But I don't know. Like I said, some people just take things a little bit too seriously sometimes. But yeah, just check on Jenner checking. Go on, Jenner check, you guys. Okay, now, where are we at now? I know this thing's getting ready to skip on me a whole lot more. Let's see. Speaking of Wi-Fi signal, I get kicked to mine right now. It's jumping up again. Okay, there we go. I think Max has a hate boner for Jeremy. Yeah, I think he does. And it's a shame because, it's one of those things, and I'm glad that he had that conversation, that Black Angus had that conversation with him, because hopefully that will help him move forward past it and realizing, sometimes it may take somebody like Black Angus telling him, or any of us, when we get in that kind of thing, somebody coming up to you and telling you, like, I get it, bro, but move on now. Just it's okay. It's okay. Move on now. It's okay. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, I think I think that's I think that's what it takes. I think it takes conversations like that. But again, a lot of people don't like having those conversations, and a lot of people get triggered by them, and they get really upset, and they just can't handle, whether even if it's constructive criticism or just straight up criticism. We've always got to be thinking about that kind of stuff. Let's see. Senate says I'm sub to 308 people. I think I might be. I'm not sure if I'm sub to that many, but it's got to be. It's got to be getting close. Kingshifter says the new Cold is going to destroy everything. Ooh, when's that come out? A new Cold album? Holy shit! I didn't even know that. I can't wait to hear a new Cold album. Damn, that's been a while. That's been a while since Cold has had a new album. Man, King Shifter says, have you heard of 8 Dust? No. LB says, I have one. Yeah, you do. I gave a couple people some other, because, we could probably use some moderators in here. What I'm probably going to do with those moderators, all of you, I'm going to delete you after the show, man. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, it's all good, man. Because believe me, when I say I probably need some help, and one of these days, maybe I need to get together and collaborate with my buddy here, Lonely Banter, man. Get him on the show, to bring him on sometime and talk with you. I know I'm pretty sure. Have you been on here before, LB? I think you have. Didn't you? Didn't you come on one time? I can't remember. But I need to get you on here one of these days. I know I brought Fatal in the other day. Fatal J came in for a few minutes on one of my streams. But yeah, I want to start bringing in some more content creators to just have some fun with stuff like that. And yeah, Darth Lonely. The sentence says, "Don't wrench me. I don't do that much except curse." Yeah, and that's why we've got all your shit blocked, Senate. That's why we got all your stuff blocked. Oh, Snowdo says, I have the power. Nathan Big Game says, have you been reading Savage Avengers? Yes, I have been reading Savage Avengers. It seems like no one is covering anymore that I follow. Everyone is on Hickman's X-Men books out right now, or Absolute Carnage. You know what? And it's funny that you mentioned that. It's funny that you mentioned that, because the new issue just came out last week, issue number 5, and I was thinking that exact same thing. And like, dude, I need to do some reviews on those, because it's a great series, and I have really been enjoying it. It's something different. It seemed to take off slow, and it's really picked up steam in the last couple of issues. I've really liked what's going on there. Especially what I like about it is the art style that's in it. It's kind of gritty, and it really serves the purpose of what's going on in the story, and just what's been going on in that story has been pretty good. I can't believe I can't. I don't know. I probably couldn't even describe how good Savage Avengers has been, but I've really been liking that, the Savage Avengers, and that's being written by Jerry Duggan. Duggan or Dugan, I don't know, but yeah, that's been a really great series. And by all means, I know what you're talking about with the Hickman series, the X-Men. Everybody is talking about that, and there's obviously a great reason why. And I actually wanted to bring some people on to the live stream one of these days to talk about that. One of the guys I want to bring on, I just haven't heard back from him. Wildebeard Reviews. If you guys have never heard of Wildebeard Reviews, it's like Wildebeest, but it's Wildebeard. Okay, go to his channel. And leave some comments saying, "Hey, man, you should get together with Second Street Marvel and talk some House of X and Powers of X. Just do it, just to give him a hard time." I think it would be kind of funny. But he's a busy dude too, man. He's a busy guy. But yeah, the Hickman X-Men has been great. Now the Absolute Carnage, you won't see me talking about that because I'm not doing it. Pretty much after War of the Realms, I'm done getting into the Marvel events and living through them while they're happening, because the last couple that I've been through were pretty lackluster, and part of that is not just the stories. The stories are like, yeah, there's some silly things going on in them, but part of it is the tie-ins are just all out of whack. They're all out of sequence, like, and it's just ridiculous. Like, like in the main story arc, you're on issue number 4, and then all of a sudden you get some tie-in issues that take place between issue 1 and 2, and 2 and 3, and you get a bunch of these issues that fall in between that time, and it's like, why didn't you release these books right after you released issue 2, so it would be in chronological sequence here? You're not fucking Quentin Tarantino, and you're not doing a very good job at releasing these books, Marvel. I think that's something that they need to look at. Now, the bad thing is I went ahead and got off board on these events, and I've heard the Absolute Carnage has been absolutely phenomenal. I don't know, maybe I haven't heard phenomenal, but I've heard it's been really good, and I'm missing out. But trade paperbacks are coming out, and I'm not getting into it, man. And like I said, I've been getting into more indie titles lately too. So I'm going to be scaling back some of my Marvel titles. I would say my DC titles, but I haven't really been reading much DC. I've just been reading Hawkman and Deceased, which have been really good. But yeah. Let's see. I better add that one too. There we go. I'm snow privileged. Oh shit. Let's see, where else are we at here? Jenner check. Hashtag Jenner check. Yeah, man. Sometimes you gotta Jenner check people. You don't want to be out at the club and not Jenner check somebody. You never know these days, man. Them dudes be getting tricky. Yeah. You know what you need to do, Snowdub? You know what you need to do, Snowdub, is for your next Jenner check gif. What you need to do is you need to go back and get that clip. You need to go back and get that clip from Crocodile Dundee. You know what clip I'm talking. I know you know what I'm talking about, Snow. The one where they're at the party, and he gets hit on by somebody that was trying to trick him, and he gives him a gender check. That's what you got to do, man. You got to get. I want to see that be your next GIF. Crocodile Dundee, man. Go check it out. Get. I want to see that as your next gender check GIF. Senate says, I use high council a lot instead of high school. Oh, okay. It autocorrects time to time. Tuck and roll. LB says, oh, they're just saying what's up. Okay, September 13th is the new cold. Ooh, damn, what's that, next week? Next week already, huh? We're gonna be checking that out. Might have to go ahead and put a pre-order on that. Lonely Banter says, we talked phase 4. That's right. Okay. I was gonna say, I thought I had you on that one time. Yeah, when we were talking phase 4 after they did the slate, and we need to get together again and do some videos too, man. I need to get more of the Dark Council on here so we can do some more live streams. Like I said, I've just been really picky about stuff, just because how I got everything on here, man. I don't know. I'm sure you guys know how that is. Getting weirdy about things. Nathan Game says, I really want to get it. Are you talking about the new Cold, or are you talking about Savage Avengers? I'm not for sure what you're talking about there, Nathan Big Game. The Senate says, I'm good, just about to play some games. Oh, okay, gonna play some games. Senate says, I skipped War of the Realms to save for Absolute Carnage. It's pretty good so far. I'm not buying tie-ins. Well, only the Deadpool ones. You know what? And that's one. I almost went for that Absolute Carnage Deadpool, because I believe that's the one that Matthew Rosenberg is writing, and Matthew Rosenberg is a great writer. And I was, when I seen that, I was at the comic shop and I had it in my hands. I'm like, No, I'm like, no, Marvel, I'm not giving in. Now, the one I did give into this week was the Absolute Carnage Symbiote Spider-Man. I just wanted to see if Peter David kept the same quality of Symbiote Spider-Man and how it tied into this Absolute Carnage series, because the Symbiote Spider-Man story, if I remember correctly, and I'm pretty sure I am, the Symbiote Spider-Man story arc that just recently happened, it was a little 5-issue miniseries. It actually took place right after Secret Wars. So it took place basically back in the 80s. And then obviously Absolute Carnage, as far as I know, is taking place in present time. So I was kind of wondering how that was all going to work out with the symbiote and Spider-Man. And Spider-Man don't have the symbiote suit. I don't know. So I wasn't sure how that was going to work out. Hunter Thompson, welcome to the live stream. Thank you so much for being here. King Shifter says Megadeth. Yeah, man. I looked into that book you were talking about the other day, and that Megadeth comic book. I think it actually just released this week, and my LCS didn't have it, and I might ask him to look into that, but I think I seen the price on it was like, I want to say it was like $150 or something like that. It might have been a little bit less, but it was pretty expensive. That Megadeth comic book. But yeah, it is something that sounds pretty cool. It might be into. Snowdove says I'll look for that Dundee GIF. Yeah, it might not be out there. It might be one you have to go make yourself. Let's see. The Senate says I did once almost led to these fucks. I want no kids. I stopped after that. Okay, I'm not sure what you're talking about there. I must have missed part of your guys' conversation there, but yeah. Anyway, God, man, it's almost 10 o'clock already, man. We're getting close there. Okay. Um, I think I've gone just about mad enough as I can for the day, but I make a death trade. Nah, 45 tops. Oh, okay, was it? Okay. It might have been $50, maybe. I can't remember. But then again, where I was looking it up at, where I seen that price was on, I think, on Previews World, and sometimes they have things listed on there at different prices because they have different variant versions of them, and it might have been like a Virgin cover that had something else a little bit different than the regular one that was on there. So I'll definitely look into that. But guys, I think I've flapped my gums about enough things today. Thank you all so much for tuning in to the Trailer Park Live tonight. Now, as always, make sure you subscribe and all of that good stuff. But again, I do plan on bringing some other content creators into like I said, I'm going to bring Stevie J's reviews to be on my morning movie chat on Tuesday. So make sure you guys tune in for that. Hopefully, I've reached out to Eric July, Young Ripa, to see if I can get him here on the stream. I want to bring him on, and I try to keep some of my streams a little bit shorter, but I know that one will probably go a little bit longer because I think we might have a lot of things to talk about. I'm hoping that I can get him here on the show very soon. I'm also hoping to get a couple other people here on the stream very soon to just to bring some other new and new kind of content and just different things like that. But that's all I have for this video this evening, folks. Thank you all so much for tuning in to Second Street Marvel today. If you haven't already, please make sure you're subscribed, click the little bell, and all of that good stuff. You guys know what I talk a lot about, man. And I appreciate you guys all being here. I love you all so much. Love you all to death. One of these days, I'm sure we'll all cross paths in real life, and we'll get to meet, and it will be awesome. We'll have a good time, and that'll be great. Especially like you, Snowdub and Kermit, because I know you guys aren't far from me. You're not far from me, man. I'm up here in the high desert in Los Angeles County. Anyway, that's all I have for the Trailer Park Live today. You all have a very good rest of your night. Be safe. Certainly, it's Friday night. There's a bunch of weirdies out there. But also, make sure you keep an eye out for some of my upcoming reviews that I will be dropping here on the channel. And well, yeah, I guess that's about it. You guys go out there, watch some more videos. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you in the next video. Later. Oh man, that didn't. There we go. All right, fellas, you all have a good night. I appreciate you all being here.